Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Contest of Speed Action. I am your guest host this evening, Burzy J, filling in, and alongside me, as always, in the commentary booth for AM2, the wonderful Bodhod. Bodhod, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Nice to be here on what looks like a bit of a wet and gloomy um, Spielberg, Austria in the hills. Yeah, rain always makes it interesting, so it should be a fun race. I mean, it normally is with
Abs-
these guys, but we'll see how they tackle the elements.
Absolutely, yeah. It's looking like a damp one right now, as it looks like Vamu is the first to brave the conditions. We'll await some word from the garages whether it is a dry or wet race, but clearly qualifying a little damp, so we'll see as these drivers make their way around the circuit. I don't know what they're expecting for dry conditions, maybe based on setup and times. But I've been away from the AM2 world a little bit, so Bod, you're gonna kind of have to keep us in the loop in terms of who we expect should be the front runners for the race tonight.
Yeah, of course. Well, Championship leader Acosta had a bit of an average week last week, start like ending up towards the back, but then coming through quite strong to get some solid points. Decomb, aka Fred Head, did an absolute monster of a stint on the soft tyres last week to take the win. They're the two main championship protagonists, and Bama 22 will be the next one there, our regular front runners. So we expect to see them up the front. There's plenty of guys in here who can challenge for a podium on their day. I know Austria, very, very short lap time. I think it's the shortest in the calendar, one of the shortest length tracks as well. So there's not much difference. There's not many places you can really make a difference. So this is the kind of race where you can kind of get some unpredictable results if drivers can kind of keep themselves around about the fight. With three DRS zones, pretty much half the track's a DRS zone. But those three you'd expect to see up the front regardless of conditions, regardless of track. Way of Flu's also put in some fantastic qualifying. I believe he has 3 poles, but he's yet to actually get on the podium. So he needs to hook some races together, but he could be one to watch as well.
Okay.
Unfortunately, tonight, though, he does have a quali band, so he's going to have to do it the hard way. But yeah, some really quick people. We can't count out the likes of DK as well. Motown, VTEC's put in some good races as well recently, so it's a few of the contenders in our podiums.
Interesting. All right. Well, I guess we'll see. Grex King, and Wayo, as mentioned, both have qualifying bans for this race. So you will see them both head out quickly so they can lock their setup in, and then they will retire in the pits, as Gru has done. And Vamu looks like he's invalidated his lap right near the end there, so looks like he'll go for another run. Well, Fredhead 19, first on the board with a 112.414, so pretty solid time in the wet. I'm not quite sure the lap times that we want to be seeing here in the wet, but I assume kind of around that 11, 12 for intermediates should be a solid lap time.
They should improve as the time goes on.
Yeah.
You often see guys feeling up for multiple runs in wet conditions just to kind of get the proper heat in the tyres. Really short lap. So your second lap is probably going to just about be your optimal lap on these intermediate and wet tyres as they do a bit of a thicker skin. I assume the game accounts for that. But yeah, usually getting into the rhythm and flow of the wet anyway. It's very much a rhythm and flow kind of situation. Trying to get yourself into the zone where you can make the most of the grip that you have available, which is limited compared to dry. So we will see these times gradually drop. Not too sure what the weather's going to be doing towards the end of the session. Arba has reported a dry race, so there will be a little bit skittish perhaps running dry setups in the wet conditions. But we'll see what they can do of it. Looks like most people in the 12s, 13s kind of area. I would expect that to drop to probably mid-lower 11s, if not high 10s, as they get the rhythm of the circuit. But we'll have to wait and see.
Absolutely. I'm noticing Porridge here. We're on board with Porridge through his first hot lap of the session. This might not necessarily be a hot lap, more like a lukewarm lap. His rear end is all over the place, so he's obviously, his setup is a little bit more of a lower downforce setup perhaps, or just a little bit more aggressive for those dry conditions that they're expecting to see during the race. As he comes around the final turn, turn 10, and crosses the line good enough for P8 with a 114.9. I'm I'm sure you can go quite faster as long as that rear end wants to stay down, but it was quite wobbly through the first go around this track.
Yeah, around here you really want to run as little wind as you possibly can because of all the straights. However, you really need that car stuck in that second sector there, some really fast corners. You can't really afford to be on steering out wide. So a bit of a balance.
Absolutely.
Plus with these wet conditions, you need all the front end you can get while keeping that back end balanced. So really, really tricky.
No, absolutely, especially with, I believe this is one of those tracks that can be a little bit of a DRS train nightmare. So running that low downforce, if you can squeeze out the little bit of extra notches on the wing to get yourself an advantage in the straights, it'll be crucial. As DK's flying around here, going into turn 4 and 5.
Now we have tipped into the 11s as well, which is good to see, nice and early.
Yes, absolutely. The speedy lads as expected up there in the top, so great to see. Oh, DK has validated.
Oh yeah, take a bit of that inside curve. Very, very easy to validate your lap around here. There are a couple of really, really easy places to do it. This last couple of corners, both inside and outside, as soon as you got wheels over that white line, your lap's gone. Turn 1's also very, very easy to, as well as that fat curve where DK didn't validate. So, gonna have to be careful, particularly in the race, picking up those warnings. A couple of penalty-friendly tracks coming up, so keeping it clean between the white lines is going to be massive. And getting good points, particularly if you get things like late safety cars, which brings the pack closer together. So you've got to get that lap in first. And this is DK's third lap now on these tyres, having validated the second one and a slow first one. So he's going to have to tidy himself up a little bit if he wants to be where he expects himself to be.
Absolutely. I think we might see some of those drivers that have put in a little bit more wet practice shoot at the leaderboard here too, and it'll create for an interesting start to the Grand Prix. One driver of note, AG Brewer, filling in from across the pond in the racing point, currently in the pit lane. Good to have some fellow European drivers tuning in late at night for some AM2 racing action. And we'll see if DK is able to improve his time. And he is good enough for P4 with a 1:12.3. So, great improvement from him. Acosta.
Teammate with 11.4. That's a good time.
Yeah. 11.4 from Acosta. Man, these guys are starting to pick up the pace now, Bod. This is going to be good.
Starting to get the hang of these conditions. Vanity popped himself up to P4 as well to 12.2, so times are starting to already drop. We'll expect to see some of these guys in for some pressure tyres in the second run. Probably don't really want to do more than that. But yeah, time's really dropping. Seeing a couple of guys putting in some pretty reasonable times. You mentioned AG Brewer. He runs under the English flag. It's nice to have him on board, filling in the racing point. First time in AM2, I think, so welcome aboard. Currently sitting P6, which is a pretty good showing.
Absolutely. Especially with some of the rapid drivers we do have in AM2. That's a great showing from him. I believe he is an EU4 driver, if I'm not mistaken.
EU4 third driver, I believe.
Yeah. So, some great experience for him here this evening.
Yeah, just riding on board with some of these guys. Just trying to hang on to it. Some of these curbs are pretty slippery in the dry. You'd want to run as much curb as you can to open up that track. You can't afford to run a lot of curb. I'm not just going to go over it, but in the wet it's a different story. See cars sliding off a fair bit. Showing how challenging these conditions are.
Absolutely, you want to use all that track, and sometimes your instincts from the dry line kick in, and you want to hop those curbs and use those curbs, and not the case in these wet conditions. But see here, Motown's flying around sector 2 now, coming around turn 7 and 8 as he's invalidated on that same curb as DK did, and it looked like Arkaka there in the gravel trap. Oh, there's another car in the gravel trap too. Is that young DJ? That is young DJ.
Yeah. Dropped it on that curb, I guess.
Yeah.
You do want to take as much of it as you can in the dry, just as we were saying, but you can't really afford to, because you can't quite correct it in these conditions. So a couple of guys learning nice and close together there.
Yes. Arbar in the chat saying AG is the 5th reserve driver for AM2 this season. So fun fact from Statsman Arbar tuning in.
Yeah, it's nice to see
Steven's,
him jumping in.
yeah, good to have him here. Steven 7, rounding turn 10. And see if he can improve his time. And he does not. So we'll see here, maybe see another run at things.
Yeah, teammate to Motor. He wasn't here last week, I don't think. On paper, a strong team. They had a couple of good races, but I think a little bit of inconsistency getting involved in a couple of incidents on Motor's side hasn't really helped him. The last couple of races, they'll be able to some strong results. Stephen had a really impressive showing on his first reserve race before, unfortunately, putting it in the wall at Abu Dhabi. I think he was running in that top 6 from memory, and then getting the call up for a full-time Renault seat. But he's been good to have in this tier. Very solid driver. Him and Motor will be hoping for some strong team results as we come towards the end of the season. We've only got 3 rounds left after this, I think.
Crazy.
Now's the time to start performing if you're serious about contending, as Steven's getting very, very slippery on his hot lap here, just riding the board here.
Speaking of,
as a lot of these guys are.
do you have the task handy this evening?
I do.
Perfect. I wonder if we can pull up the standings. I could also go to our website as well.
Yeah, I'll have a quick look. I think the Taz might have missed a week, but I'll get the website up. So give me a couple of minutes and I'll get that all up for you. 5 minutes left, so people in the pits probably going to have to get out in the next couple of minutes.
Got looks like the AlphaTauri boys coming around together, so maybe wonder if Bama's looking to tow VTech around maybe, or if these guys have just timed this up so they're both on hot laps here. This will be, they're spaced out enough, it shouldn't be too much of an issue, but interesting strategy from the AlphaTauri garage.
I do have our standings ready.
Okay.
So currently Acosta leads by just 12 points. That was a very big margin a couple of weeks ago, but Fred has managed to close that in. So 12 points is that margin. Then it's a further 16 points back to Bama. And then it's almost 50 points back to Andrew. So those 3 in the league their own.
Wow.
But after that, it is fairly close again. So that kind of P5 to 8 sort of points range could be really valuable for a lot of guys. As they try to kind of sort themselves out towards the end of the season. But those top 3, due to consistency and just raw pace, well and truly ahead of the rest. But still not done yet. I know Fred's been hoping for some really strong races where he can get a few more points off Costa. But yeah, I mean, 3 races left after this one, so there's still a lot of points on the table to be taken. We'll have to see who can make the most of the opportunities and start to get that upper ground.
Absolutely. It's kind of reminds me of the AM1 championship a little bit there. You've got those top 3 guys at the front that are just absolutely running away with it, taking the majority of the points week in and week out, and then, like you said, kind of the next 8 are fighting for the remaining points, and it's anybody's race for the pretty much the 4th or 5th onwards in the championship by the looks of it. So yeah, it's exciting stuff.
And with Andrew missing, that 4th place isn't that safe either. He's got a 19-point gap to Porridge behind, so
totally.
And then very, very, very close behind Porridge, you've got DK just another point behind, and you've got about 6 or 7 guys within about 10 points there as well. So I mean, P4 is still up for grabs in this championship, even. So it's probably 10 guys contending that. So
crazy.
Points is very, very, very valuable for those midfield guys.
And it looks like I also have the website up here. It looks like the Red Bull Racing team is leading the championship, the Constructors' Championship, with AlphaTauri 42 points behind, and then another 8 points behind them is Alfa Romeo. So it's pretty tight there, and I think that's a direct result of the top three drivers scoring points for each of those teams, I guess.
Yeah, DK's
So
been quite consistent in that top six. I know he's hoping to fight for podiums, and he's definitely got the pace too. He's had some good races recently, but a bit of inconsistency has hurt him. But that's definitely helping out in that constructors battle, as well as VTech. He's had a couple of really strong races and a couple of not so strong races. And in terms of Alfa Romeo in third place, all those points are Fred's. Unfortunately, he hasn't had a consistent teammate while tending, so it's been a bit of a one-man battle for that. But if Kaz can get into the points, could really be quite important for that battle there. But, I mean, Red Bull with that 42-point lead at the moment, they're going to be hard to catch with the pace of their two drivers.
absolutely. I mean, that's like currently Red Bull sitting P1, P4 here, and I mean AlphaTauri's teammate currently Bama's teammate VTech currently P15 with Fred's teammate Kaz currently P14. So those two guys in P14 and 15 respectively are gonna really want to try and push out one more lap here as we're winding down to the final minute of qualifying.
Yeah, 4 tenths up the front,
Yeah.
3.5 tenths for Acosta. That's a good gap. That's a very big gap considering how short the lap time is. So we'll see if anyone can get close to that. It's quite close behind them. You can see the gaps from Vamu in P5 right down to about Porridge in P10. It's almost nothing. It's a tenth and a half between those six guys. So any improvement is probably going to get you positions. So now's the time to really hook your lap up. As Acosta goes even quicker with an 11 flat, 6 tenths now clear of Bama.
Wow.
So who can challenge that? It's not going to be Bama who's coming into the pit lane. So Bama's qualifying's done. DJ is also done. From P12. Fred coming across the line, improves, but not quite enough. 3 tenths off now. He will get another run at it, but I'm not sure. Is there 3 tenths in that time? I'm sure he believes there is. Let's see if he can do it. I think Vamu's also on a lap, but he's just about running out of ERS, so he might not quite have the power to get to the line. Not sure if Brewer's on a lap as well, so not sure if anyone's going to catch Costa.
Yeah, that's an impressive lap, 11-0 in these conditions, and I guess we'll see here. It looks like we've got two guys rounding the final couple corners. That would be...
Yep, Kaz into P12, I think it was Porridge, no, it was Arkaka, the other one.
Arkaka, yeah.
He was doing another lap there.
Like Vamu has bailed on his lap, he's now in the pit lane. So that means we've got Fred should be the next driver to cross the line here. We'll
yeah, he's marginally up at the moment. Very, very, very marginally. He needs to find some more tenths. Oh, nice and squirrely in that curve. Show how hard he's pushing. He's wide.
Oh,
Power slide and a half, but unfortunately it's invalidated.
Well,
and that'll be his call.
Not the final couple corners Fred was looking for, I'm sure, but great skills to wrangle the car in and keep it from going into the wall at the end of that session. Looks like we've got, is this...
Clay's coming round the second to last corner now.
Okay.
Or coming up to the second to last corner. He's currently 2 tenths up. So he could challenge for that top 5, although he's bailed. Oh, he's running out of fuel, possibly. So that's no good.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, let's see. We got our Cockeye.
Yeah, he might about be the last one here. Improves, but not enough for a position. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think Kaz coming in, so that should do it. That should do it, bud. So there you have it. Acosta, Fred, and Bama, the top 3 in the championship so far, and running away with things here in qualifying a little bit, but DK and Vamu, impressive showings, and a great qualifying session from AG Brewer P6, getting right up in the mix. And we got Porridge, Clay, Arkaka, Google round out the top 10, Steven, Kaz, Young DJ, Motown, VTech, Jason, and then in P17 and 18 on the back row will be Whale Flu and Grugrex King with the qualifying bands for the race tonight. So for those of you that have tuned in, feel free to get your predictions in the chat. We have 9 viewers with us this evening, which is fantastic. Arbar's predicting an Acosta Bama Vamu finish with a Fred DNF. Very specific. Very
Good
specific.
call.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's going to be an interesting race. They're going to be very close together. We have talked about the DRS and how short the track is.
mm-hmm.
Pretty much half the lap is on the DRS if you're in that train. So lots of cars close together. Could spell some disaster, but not really sure what's going to happen. This midfield fight's going to be absolutely crazy, I think. So many guys so close to pace. Usually you see in the wet, drivers tend to kind of split up a bit, but not the case here. So I expect the dry to be no different in terms of being close. But in terms of a podium shout, very, very good shout there. Vamu has shown some fantastic pace in some races as well, so he's definitely not out of the question to get onto those top 3 steps there. But we're gonna have to see who can pull something out of the bag. They'll all get free tyre choice as well. Remember, haven't been wet quali, so I'll have to see what the strat is. If anyone tries to do that alternate, or if the top guy's just going to bolt on the softs and try and get that gap. A couple of ways you can approach it.
Yeah, because it's a soft medium around here, right? Or is it a soft hard? I can't remember. It
On
used to be
fresh tyres,
fresh
you could do a
tires.
soft medium. I think on quali softs, their mediums and hards about level out. Mediums are quicker, but by the end of the stint, the hards are much better. But with fresh tyres, most of these guys will probably be aiming for a soft medium. Not that many corners to wear the tyres out, so it's not too bad. I think you can probably take the softs 14, 15, 16 laps, which is almost half race distance.
Austria,
Um,
soft medium looks like. Yeah, you're right.
yes, we'll have to see if anyone tries that alternate. If you can stick with the pack on medium tyres, it can be quite valuable in the second half of the race. Plus opens up a couple other strategy options if you get things like safety cars. But we'll have to see if anyone tries that.
So it's an
Top 2, there you go. Look at that,
yeah,
top 2 on mediums.
yeah, interesting choice from the top 2. Um, Obviously they feel they're gonna have that supreme advantage being on the reverse strategy. Um, Kaz opting for the hards right off the get-go, so that's gonna be an interesting strategy from him, especially if, I mean, I guess with an early-ish safety car you kind of jump the queue, but then you're kind of a sitting duck later on, so interesting call there, but nice
Yeah,
blend.
can't get damaged at all costs if you're running the
No,
hard tyres.
no.
So he needs to have a nice clean start to this race and try and hang on to the back of that pack.
And kind of like we mentioned earlier, I think penalties are going to be critical in this race. Trying to keeping your warnings down. The strict track limits that we run here in Contest of Speed do pose for some controversial track lines, that's for sure. But it makes
I
for
think Acosta's
exciting
just done
racing.
the fastest formation lap in history.
Yeah.
He was
Hey
absolutely gunning
Arbar, he pulled something out of your book there, just zooming around the track like that on the formation.
it.
That was impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's one way
Got
to
to keep
warm
an eye
up
on
the
the
tires, I
likes of
guess.
keep an eye on the likes of Bama, DK and Bama on those soft tyres, see if they might try and make a move and try and stretch their legs a little bit.
Yeah.
Top 2 are going to be hard to pass. We know their pace. So it's going to be a real spicy race. Turn 1 is not the easiest to negotiate either, plus turn 3 at the top of the hill. Big hairpin, massive opportunity for dive bombs. See how hard people try to go on them. Not the longest run of turn 1, so we know the pack will be bunched up.
Yeah.
So it's always an interesting start to the race here.
Yeah, these drivers got to be careful. There's turn 1, very, very narrow apex here, so we'll see as we get our 5 lights, and I'm not sure if we're getting the glitch. Okay, lights out, but the cars have not moved yet.
Revs building now. Let's pretend we can see lights. And they're gone, they're out and away. We're underway, looks like a decent start from the front 2. Bama gets a good start. Can he make a run around the outside? DK's going to send it. Oh, DK! And he's hit his teammate off the track. He has taken the lead provisionally, but that's massive there. Costa's now got damage. He's right at the back. Oh, that's massive for the championship. Fred and Bama look like they're lining it up. AJ Brewer's making a move for P3 as well. And there's contact up top. There's a massive crash involving a Mercedes. I think that's Wayu and about 4 other cars running into that. Oh, what a crazy start. A couple of massive sends from some people. Unfortunately, has scattered the field a bit. We have a couple of cars off the back. Costa's right down into last place. Wayu VTech right down the back as well. More moves coming into turn 4 here. as you got more side-by-sides in the exit, but it is Bama leading from Fred, leading from Brewer, top three. DK, after scattering a couple of people at turn one, takes P4. Whether he'll keep that post-race is up for debate. Clay Funk with a decent start, P5. Porridge and P6 on mediums, that could be quite valuable. I think Stevens almost dropped it and lost a couple of positions there. Some crazy weaving behind as well for some reason. As you've got some guys coming to the pits now. Vamu comes into the pits with damage after starting P4 it was. So absolutely crazy start to this race in the end.
Oh my
Caution
goodness.
absolutely out the window.
Oh my goodness, I had to mute myself because that was insane. I was just like yelling at the TV and you were giving the play-by-play. That was wild. I feel bad for DK. I don't know if he missed a break point or he saw a window and had a fantastic start, but
that was
poor
P2
Acosta.
here.
Oh man.
Got Brewer trying to go down the inside of Fred. Fred hangs on around the outside, but he's going to get another run down here. No DRS yet, so it's pure car pace at this point. And Brewer takes P2 on the soft tyres ahead of Fred. DK still sitting in P4, but that is big there for Brewer. Really, really nice job. Bama doing nice at the front. Got a 1 second lead already. We'll see if he can stretch that out. But yeah, absolutely crazy start to this race. Kaz and the Hards in the midfield. He hasn't lost any positions actually. He's actually making a move on Jasin here. And he's going to just about get it stuck. So Kaz in the P10 on Hards. We're going to have to watch his progress, I think, because he's kind of the odd one out in this strategy. He does have a line of cars chopping at his heel though. Gru and DJ behind this little pack as well. So absolutely crazy at the start here, and I think DJ's going to sneak through on the inside. Gru start from the back's made up a couple of positions already, which is nice to see from him. Absolutely crazy start. We had 4 guys pit. We've had Acosta's put on the intermediate tyres, so I'm not sure if that's a give up or if he's just accidentally scrolled across. But that's not going to do him any favours. He's going to go a lap down, actually, I think, just about, if he pits again. And that we know that when you go a lap down, it's pretty much race over. Unless you get a very, very fortunate safety car. So that is absolutely massive for this championship with Fred and Bama up in P1 and 3 at the moment.
Kaz going wide. The battle for P10 is ferocious right now. We got like 5 cars all right alongside each other here going into turn 4. And I've gotten the worst camera angle of life. So let's get this switched around.
Oh, I got a beautiful camera on the outside of 4.
No, I was riding on the camera that points at the rear wing.
There's a big incident in the midfield. Motown and Google are both in the wall. That's massive. I'm not sure how Google's ended up all the way out there. I think he's reset to track as well, which is a bit of a naughty.
I think Motown might have as well, unless Motown came back onto the circuit. But
I think Motown was just on the inside there. But I think that was a 3-car incident, I think, as well. As young DJ goes very, very wide, the second to last corner there. But, geez, incidents galore to start off. These guys are absolutely sending it.
Well, I mean, 3 races to go, and we know the points are hard to find. I guess the guys are sending it here with a couple races to go, but oh my goodness, this is insane.
Yeah, wow. Well, what a way to start the race. So finally on lap 4, we started to settle down a tiny bit. Still a couple of nice battles there. DK trying to line up Fred, and it looks like, I think that was DJ running a bit wide.
So Motown...
I think Motown's glitched now.
Yeah, because he's at the back.
First time. He should be in P10 at the moment.
Yeah.
Got more yellows in the midfield. What's happened down there? I'm not sure. There's no one really made a massive mistake, I don't think. So maybe just a game glitch there, but yeah, crazy start. A couple of trains forming behind some people, but I mean that's one way to start a race, isn't it?
So Acosta has
again, and he's retired on lap 4. That's a big call to retire so early on. Fred and Bama will be licking their lips now at the possibility of a championship lead after this race, which is massive. So there you go. Acosta won't be happy with his teammates. Some strict words from Christian Horner, I reckon, after this race.
100%. That's tough. Almost, not quite, but almost Azerbaijan-esque in a sense.
Oh, 100% Azerbaijan-esque.
Yeah.
I guess we have to move on now. I'll check the telemetry quickly to see if anyone's picked up some minor damage that we can't quite visually see.
All right. We've got the battle for first brewing as Brewer is closing in on Bama slowly but surely. That DRS has aided him in his quest for getting P1. At the same time, DK on those soft tires is closing up on Fred, but Fred, very talented driver, is able to keep DK behind for the most part, but I imagine we're going to have some moves going on here as we start lap 6 of a 36 Grand Prix. Oh, we have Yellow flag, someone is off in Sector 2.
Not quite sure. There's a Mercedes off. That might be Wayu.
Maybe, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
Brewer
Wayu's
goes for a
off.
move down the inside. And he gets the move done. And we'll see here. Does that allow Bama the DRS? It does. So Bama's going to have a chance to retake the position going into turn 4.
Oh, he's running out of straight though, so Brewer hangs on. Great move there. Fantastic.
DK unable to get the move done on Fred. So around they go into the technical second sector. We move back to order a little bit. Looks like we got a little bit of a train here as Grew and VTech closing up on Kaz, but unable to get a move done as well. Oh, Motown has left the session. I wonder if we can get him another invite, get him back in the
I'll do
session.
that.
But unfortunately glitching out of the lobby at the moment. Oh, we are really close to the front here. We'll keep on board with that. Got him back in. Fantastic work. Oh, Bama going for a move down the inside going into turn 3. Squeezing that Racing Point wide, but the Racing Point holds the line. And Brewer
Brewer has
gets
DRS.
the DRS. Oh, man. Crazy. So, Brewer now P1 going into Sector 2.
Yeah, that outside line massively quick, just able to get on that power with dip at the apex there. Quite difficult to put the power down the inside sometimes.
Yeah.
That's proven right there, so really well done there.
Great clean driving from both of these drivers here. Respecting the space, but also being firm on their racing lines. And we'll see if Bama can take another chance at P1 here. I'm waiting for the gaps to form up. I've lost the interval gap at the moment. Looks like DK's dropped back from Fred a little bit here. Now he's out of DRS range. I wonder if those soft tires starting to fall off just a little bit as Bama goes down the inside of turn 3 and now is ahead of Brewer.
Yeah, some really nice back and forth happening here.
Great action at the top. And even looking down the midfield here, you got Grew and VTech are kind of swapping positions for P10. Fighting for that all crucial final point. Oh, as
that might have been DJ Major just dropped it at the back there.
So VTech is ahead up into P10 now.
Yes, Kaz is actually doing quite a good job to hang on to these guys. They are losing a fair bit of time with guys in front, but I mean, this is the fight for some low points here. So if Kaz can stay in here, he could be laughing at the end of the race in the last stint. So doing all he needs to do at the moment, managing to kind of ride the pressure a little bit with VTech and Brew having such a big battle around them. So Kaz doing well enough. We've got more yellows.
Ooh.
That may have been for Wayu again, maybe dropping it, or Vamu, I'm not too sure, but Vamu down to P13 after starting P4 or 5.
Vamu had to pit as well during that initial
he hit lap 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough.
So yeah, a lot of people somewhat out of position, but I mean, a long way to go still. We're only 1/4 way through the race, so it is a lot of laps to do.
Absolutely. There's Brewer maybe getting a little bit loose in the rear end. Oh, we've got a little bit of a tight battle here with Jason and Arkaka for P7. Bruin as well. Fun DRS trains all around. I was going to say, Bod, I was looking at my stats from last season, and I pit from the softs onto the mediums on lap 14, so I'm wondering if the window is kind of a 12 to 14 window, or maybe I didn't write if there's a safety car in there or something like that. So
yeah, did you qualify on the softs, or did you have fresh ones?
You know what? I might have had fresh ones. Let's see. Qualified. Yeah. I got P9, so it started on those softs.
Yeah.
So
I think anywhere kind of between 12 and 16 you can really pit. They do last a fair while, these soft tyres, so you do have a bit of flexibility. A bit difficult to really decide when, because I mean the DRS gives you some nice pace. If you break out of that Whether you have the pacement tyres to undercut without the DRS, it's a bit of a question.
Absolutely.
Sometimes the overcut works quite well because the tyre wear isn't that bad. As with Jason is all the way back of Kaka now. Might see him move.
Ooh, we got
He's not using that ERS. He's got 90% ERS, but he's not using it, so not sure why. Maybe he knows
Google
mediums
just
are
got
just as
by.
quick.
Sorry, Google just got by Gru as well. So I wonder if Gru's struggling a little bit on those mediums already, which would be interesting. But we'll
Yeah.
pop back up to
Now it'll probably
Jason
be about
here.
the crossover time, I think.
Yeah.
So we're both of them on medium, so not too sure there.
Hmm.
Maybe Gru just struggling with the setup a little bit. But yeah, looking at some of these soft guys, they might start to slow up a little bit compared to the mediums. You might see the likes of Fred in P3 start to close up. That gap at the top's now 1.5 seconds, and Fred's only 1.5 seconds behind as well.
Yeah.
DK's getting pulled along by him, so DK's loving his toe right now. Fred's doing the hard work in front, but those mediums might start to overtake his softs on pace at this point. So yeah, I'd say 12 to 16 is the pit window. Whether anyone tries to undercut or overcut, wait and see.
Yeah, I guess that's the big sign is to find out which of these drivers makes that call, and if that undercut is the play around this track. I guess we will find out. But yeah, like I can't believe that gap from Brewer and Bama. It was like just 2 or 3 laps ago was 2/10, and now we're almost 2 seconds apart. It's crazy. But I wonder if maybe there's some minor damage that was picked up along that battle. Doesn't look like
I
it.
can't check that for you.
Yeah. His wing
Currently
looks
VTEC's the only one with some wing damage, so
okay.
no damage for anyone else.
Interesting.
Yeah, but those gaps are converging at the front there. DK's just dropped out of a second as well, so that could be quite important. He doesn't have DRS, so that's really big for Fred there.
Yeah.
He'll be able to look forwards without having to look back. Have to look at Porridge in P6 as well. He's started to catch Clay as well on the soft tyres ahead, so those medium tyres definitely look they're the ones to be on at the moment.
Yeah, if I was those soft runners, maybe I'm looking at a little bit of an early stop here onto the mediums, but hard to say. Like maybe, oh, what has happened here? DK.
DK, he's
DK
caught
got
a little
back
bit of
up.
time.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so he must have had a really nice, maybe taking a warning or something, unless
Yeah.
Fred just misses brake mark a tiny bit.
He is
But yeah,
sitting at
good
3
effort for DK to
seconds.
get back there. He's
Yeah.
gained 4/10 in half a lap, so very well done.
I was just about to make a comment about DK probably should go pit if he's out of that DRS train, but now that he's
Prove me
got
wrong.
Fred's DRS, he's good now. So, oh, as it looks like Bama
Top
and
two
Brewer
win.
have pit, so there you are, the first to crack are the leaders. So we'll look to see everybody else follow suit shortly, I'm sure.
And it's hard. It's hard ties with Bama and for Brewer. So they don't reckon the mediums go to the end. Which is a fair call. It is a fair way to go in terms of laps, but
Yeah.
I mean, we know how good some of the other guys are on tyres. But yeah, hard. I guess they can suspend it a bit without worrying about tyre wear. They've come out in a really nice gap as well. They've got a fair few seconds, 7.5 seconds to Porridge ahead, and then about 4 behind. So it's a nice gap. But yeah, I wonder if DK and Clay are going to try and stick it out for mediums in a couple of laps' time. I do know that they do work out very, very similarly in terms of pace over the entire stint. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Got a bit of variety at the top here. We know Fred's going to pit for those softs a bit later on. So we're going to have to see how far behind he is and whether he can make those inroads when he does have to pit in probably another 10 laps or so. As DK comes in the pits as well. So I wonder what he's going to put on. Clay behind looks like he's staying out on another lap. DK's put hards on as well.
Okay, there we go. My menu wasn't working for me there. So DK on the hards. Oh, who's Jason? What is he going for here? As he is in.
That crew rushes out. Looks like hards as well. So it looks like hards are the way to go for these guys.
Okay. Oh, that was a weird glitch.
Oh, he's in the middle of the track now.
Oh yeah.
not sure what's happened
Okay,
there.
so that was weird because Motown was in
Oh,
the
he's
pit
retired in
lane.
the pits and it's popped him out there.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay.
Right.
So,
Oh, thank goodness ghosting's on.
oh man.
Oh, that could be a disaster.
Right on the racing line too. Couldn't have put him like right by the pit wall. It's like, nope,
Yeah.
Right out there.
Oh, DK has big damage.
Uh-oh. Oh,
Hit.
no.
Oh, left hand side. I wonder if he's clouted that pit wall in the exit, and he's picked up a 3-second time penalty. He's gonna have to pit again.
Oh,
51%
no.
damage to the front left end.
Oh, no, that's not good, DK.
That's probably taking him out of podium contention, and he's pulling into the pit lane once again. Oh, that's massively unfortunate
Well,
for
so
him.
now if you're DK, what do you do? Because you probably don't have 2 sets of hards, so I guess you hop on
No,
the
the game doesn't
mediums,
give you
eh?
2 hards. It's going to
No,
mediums.
so
You're
you're
going
on
to
the
have to save
mediums.
him. Oh, that's massively disappointing. I reckon he's done it on the pit exit. It is quite a narrow pit exit. You feel like you can take more speed than you can sometimes. It is mediums. Oh, that's a lot of trap position gone now.
Yeah. Well, I guess he can hope for a safety car to bail him out here. And tough
Yeah.
luck for my fellow Season 6 commentator.
Yeah, he'd be kicking himself after that, I know. But move on. Still a lot of race
Moving
left,
on.
so...
A lot of race. Yeah, gotta head down. Keep pushing. We're not even at the halfway point of this race yet. It's feeling like a little bit of a long one here, but it's good. Great action so far in this Grand Prix.
We're talking about the DRS trains, but they're all kind of in pairs now.
Yeah.
I'll have to see if they convert a bit later on in the race when the tyres kind of level out. It looks like Clay's in the wall.
Oh
At
no!
the second last corner. Off the softs. At least he's right there and he can pit straight away, but it's still a fair bit of a time loss. And that's interesting. Clay was the only one still in his starting soft tyres. I wonder if there's been an incident with them slowing into the pit lane, because it's quite early in the corner to have dropped it yourself. You'd expect to be further out. But Clay will now have to pit. Doesn't have damage though, which is really crucial.
So Clay's on the
He's just going to lose about 5 seconds on pace. It is mediums. I think it's a good call. 16 laps. You should be able to do 20 on those mediums.
Yep. 100%.
So, yeah, that's a bit of a mystery what's happened there. I feel like it's contact.
I think you're right, because there was a second car right there where he was when he came to a halt along the wall, so
Yeah.
it's
Because
possible.
if you drop it, you'd expect to be a lot further from the second last corner. He was very close to the inside of the second last corner in the wall there. So that indicates he was kind of slowing down. So I reckon something a bit weird's happened there in the pit entry. But Porridge is still on his way without damage as well, so no damage for either car, which is good. Just Clay's lost a couple of seconds, but on those medium tyres, he should be pretty quick. Smart be able to catch the back up. As you've got more yellows, that is a Mercedes at the back. I think that's way again. Yeah, he's not having fun, is he?
So we've got
Yeah, he's struggling an awful lot. He's a lap down, I think, at this point as well.
really close to it, yeah. Unfortunately,
Yeah, you're right, not quite.
yeah.
Yeah, let's have a look at the top here. Brewer's just picked up 3 seconds, which could hurt him.
Yep.
Most of the field are actually doing quite well. About half of them don't have penalties yet. So we'll see if they can keep it that way halfway through just about now. So
Yeah, I'm quite impressed actually with the. Well, we're about half the field has penalties and the other half doesn't, but still, like, pretty impressive. But I was just kind of looking here, Bud, like just kind of looking at who has yet to pit and where they are on track and what tires they're going to end up on. Well, I guess those soft runners all might give those hard runners a run for their money late on, but I don't know, hard to say. Like,
it'll be a pretty big gap to catch, I think, without a safety car. So
it looks like it'll be Bama and Brewer, and then Fred with maybe Porridge battling with Fred for that final. I don't know though. That's like Porridge
is 12 seconds back at the moment, so it's a pretty big gap.
Yeah.
Porridge probably would have been fairly close to that DK kind of little battle there without DK's mistake. So Porridge still might be able to get a top 5 or top 6 here, which would be a very good effort for him. Fred's going to be trying to get that win, I'm sure. But whether these effective top 2, Banner and AG Brewer, kind of help each other out and tow each other along away from Fred, I'll have to wait and see. Karka's doing quite well as well in P4, P5 at the moment. Does have to pit still. He won't drop too far back. Still on track for some points as well. So both McLarens, this is their 3rd season being teammates actually. So good to see them stick together. Both of them looking for some points as well today. So I'll have to see whether they can pull something out of the bag. Trying to alternate strap.
So yeah, this pit window for these mediums, I guess, will be 20. 21-22 maybe?
Yeah, I'd say 21, 22,
Yeah, and do 14 to the end
23 or
on
so.
softs.
Yeah. In terms of tyre wear, just having a look at some of this on the TAS. Freddie's got a bit more tyre wear than Porridge at the moment, about low 60s on the rear.
Okay.
So they're getting on, not quite in puncture territory yet. 70% is where you start to get that happening. A lot of people's mediums are kind of in those 40s. Vamu's hards, as well as, well, not just Vamu.
Who is across
Sorry,
the track right
Vamu's
now?
hards around about 50% as well, as is a half off.
Yeah, I think that's young DJ. Yeah, that's young
It's DJ,
DJ,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, so Vamu's hards are actually got very similar wear to Stevens mediums, so he's gone through his tyres a bit quickly, I think, for his liking. It looks like Kaz and Clay having a bit of a battle. Kaz having to concede to Clay there on the fresh medium tyres. But yeah, tyre wear all around about that 60%, mid-50s, so 18, 19 laps in, you'd expect probably them to do another 2 laps before thinking about softs.
Totally. Yeah, we're kind of... Oh, DK coming up on Steven here. I was about to say, it's kind of pretty spread out, but... This will be the battle
DK
to
extending
watch
at this
the
point.
moment here. Should be fresh mediums versus worn mediums. This should be a pretty easy one for DK to get here going into turn 3, but Steven might do a really good job defending here. Who knows?
Yeah, you can see the grip, the rotation DK has to be the corner. At this point, getting the move done, DRS open, ERS in usage, gets by before the braking zone, so solid left DK. I think Steven, if he can kind of stick with DK and let him pull him along a tiny bit for a couple of laps, might help him a fair bit.
Absolutely, but
But
the
Steven
exit.
struggling at the moment. He's right at the back, still has to make another stop, so something's happened to him that we've missed as well. As Porridge is in lap 21, waiting for lap 20. It's quite early on. 16 laps on softs is not going to be an easy task. He's going to give it a go.
Wow.
Yeah, soft tyres it is. So we'll see how they are at the end of the race. Might not be too friendly, but we'll see what he can do on them. Karka's in as well, so both McLarens. We've got yellows.
Is that Google Doogle there? That's stuck. Yeah.
Google's very slow on the pit entry. Yeah. So I wonder if we've had another little pit entry incident there.
It's tough
because... a lot of cars in that little pack.
It's tough because that pit entry, they have to be inside the white lines, but it's kind of a blind corner for the guys that are staking on the racing line. So like if you time that up wrong, there could be a car literally parked right where you're trying to go. So I'm not surprised we've had a couple of incidents at that pit entry spot this evening.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're essentially braking on the racing line in a corner where you don't really need to brake that much, so it's really hazardous. I'm not quite sure why the pit lane doesn't just cut that second last corner. Maybe there's a bit of a badger hole or something which they have to protect.
Maybe
in that spot, but it is quite difficult because you are braking on the racing line essentially, as Fred's come in for some softs now as well. So now's the time. He's going to try and do 15 laps on the soft tyres, but yeah, really tricky pit entry to negotiate, particularly if you're staying out. It's probably harder when you're staying out. You have to go around and you kind of risk a warning on an incident.
We have more of the medium runners pitting here now, Guru and Vitek. So yeah, it should be an interesting one here. Fred with 4.5 second gap to Brewer. He's going to have to put the power down here, close that gap up, and then I guess clean air is going to be his friend, because if he has to waste time battling and put extra wear on those tires, that's not going to be nice later on in this race. Oh, as Kaz runs wide at turn 3. I wonder if DK is going to get a move on Kaz now.
Oh, that's right. I was talking about Steven. He did pit in lap 2.
Right.
I was just checking there, so that's why he's so far back. So he's having to 2-stop it.
Okay. Oh, that's too bad.
Because he wasn't that points battle there. But fresh mediums, we'll see what he can do. He'll have a lot of pace at the end of the race, I think, compared to those soft runners who will have some fairly worn tyres. But still a long way back. Safety car might help him. Brewer's back within half a second of Bama though. That gap's very close now. Almost having a look into turn 3.
See here if he can get a move done into turn 4.
1 minute's well and truly on. If Bama picks up another a penalty, then it's an even battle there. Bama currently sitting on 2 warnings.
Well,
So can't afford another warning.
Oh no, he cannot. This is what Fred hopes for, though, in a way, because he's as these two battle it out here, it just makes his life even easier to close it up.
He's only 2.5 seconds behind. I thought he'd be a bit further back.
Oh, he is flying right now. It's great driving from him. DK has caught up to the back of Vamu now. Vamu on 20-lap-old hards, but he is flying as well.
Yeah, Fred quicks up the race. Another second in that half lap there, so he's pushing.
Crazy.
Gap's really 1.2 seconds. He's going to have DRS next lap. And I think once he gets past him, gets a second and a half, 2 second sort of gap, he starts to decide he's going to have to start tyre saving, but looks like he's going for it now. Trying to get that gap now. Using the ERS out of the exits there, so really going for it. As Brewer has to settle behind for another lap, so he's not quite got the pace. Bama's getting a really nice exit out of turn 3, I've been noticing. It's not quite giving Brewer a look into turn 4, so his best chance is probably into turn 3. But Bama's quick in the right spots to hang on to that P1 for now. And with that penalty, if you can stay between the white lines, he's definitely got the upper hand on Brewer. His biggest concern at the moment is probably Fred on those soft tyres, who's really going for it.
Yeah.
Porridge has also come out in P4. We were talking about where he'd come out, I thought he'd be a bit further back, but he's in P4 and fresh softs as well, so Porridge looking pretty much locked for that position, barring any dramatic circumstances towards the end of the race. But superb drive from Porridge and the McLaren there to hang on to that.
Absolutely, because
Fred might have a ping here. He's close. He's very, very close. Down the inside, he's going to go for it into turn 3. Leaves enough room to the outside, and that move's done.
Wow.
Great move.
Great move from Fred. And he'll probably have Bama in the next lap here, I'd imagine.
Yeah, his pace is incredible at the moment.
Yeah, superior tire compound paying off. And with 11 laps to go in the Grand Prix. Oh, Kaz pitting on lap after 24 laps on those hards. So he's finishing out his pit strategy. So solid race for him. Fred already on the back of Bama, though. This is going to be a great one to watch as we start the 26th lap of this Grand Prix. Oh, Brewer ran wide on that final corner, turn 10.
Fred's pushing Bama through here now. Try and line up and run out of here. Bama a bit slidey on their power there. And that'll be all the invitation that Fred needs to make a move. It's going to go outside, and the move should be done before the corner, and it is. Before the sign even, so well done there for Fred. Unfortunately, the 100 metre board's gone there. On the left-hand side, someone's knocked that out. But still gets the car stopped up in time, so Fred now in the lead. And he might be able to stretch a bit before worrying about tyre saving. But fantastic drive from Fred to get by those two as quickly as he can.
Oh man, great driving from Fred.
Well done.
Nothing's worse as a driver that doesn't.
Oh, it's DJ's in the wall at the last corner.
No.
Could we see a safety car?
VSC. But everybody.
VSC.
Everybody's already pit. Oh, you know what? Vamu has not pit. So if this lines up with where Vamu is, Vamu.
He's in turn 3, so he's just missed the pit entry. I did see DK get by Vamu as well at the last lap, so DK in a P6 now. He'll go to the end on those medium tyres. So still some solid points with DK, but potentially could have been a bit higher. But yeah, virtual safety car now. Time for a bit of a breather, bit of tyre saving, bit of ERS saving before having another ping at it. No speeding, guys. No drive-throughs at this point. That'd be incredibly depressing. Keep an eye on the race director.
Shout out to last season with the... Was that Russia?
It was Russia where Kitten and I got it. Out of 1 and 2. Yeah, that was
tragic.
Not fun.
No.
200s. It's so easy to do. It's the unpredictability of this Delta as DK's pitting and VTEC has a drive-through. Mate, we were just talking about it. But yeah, DK in the pits, which is a really interesting call. He's going to lose a fair few positions. There are a lot of cars in close proximity to each other.
No.
He might come out around about P10. He's pitting for softs. No front wing change.
So
that's purely a strategy call. Maybe he didn't think his tyres would get to the end.
Maybe.
Yeah, he'll drop to probably 10th. Yeah, just 10th. So he'll have fast tyres, but
That's an
just a little bit of time to gain.
interesting
Interesting.
call from DK there. I would have thought that his tires would have made it to the end, but maybe he wasn't liking it, or maybe he was hoping that VSC was just going to stretch a little bit longer and he was going to be able to get into the pit lane and went
Yeah,
green
I
right
mean,
as
he's
he got
right
to the pit
behind
entry.
Google.
But
So, yeah, maybe he was aiming to get in that little gap between
yeah,
Google and Gru.
maybe.
But yeah, VTech, you mentioned Pit as well, but didn't quite get the benefit of the VSC.
Oh,
So he's now in
another
13th. As we have another VSC, who's that for?
one. Sure, everybody's moving around on the track
There's
right
no,
now.
there's no stationary cars. I hope
Oh.
that this isn't that glitch where it just keeps on coming out, but I can't quite tell who that's for.
Okay, so I
Everyone's
think
still in the race.
Vamu taking advantage of this VSC.
No one has damage, so I'm not sure.
Weird.
Mystery. But it does help Vamu, yeah, definitely. He might come out in kind of P8 range. Keeping for softs. Actually, he might just come out behind Google and DK. But that definitely helps him gain a little bit of time. Yeah, he'll come out in P10 with fresh softs, so he's going to be quick towards the end of this race too. As VTech still has to set that drive through as well, remember. The next couple of laps. As Bam has picked up 3 seconds.
Ooh, and the fight is back
Battle
on
for
for
P2 is still on.
Oh,
Although Brewer's lost a fair bit of time. He's lost 3 seconds as the guys in the middle are going at it as well. There's plenty happening right now. Isn't
oh
there?
my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, DK got by Google at turn 3. It's a great move from DK.
Yeah, nice.
Thought we were gonna have a little bit of a Max and Leclerc battle at turn 3 there, with DK getting force wide by Google, but didn't happen this time.
You know, I'm wondering if something's happened at the top here to lose AG Brewer 3 seconds. If maybe that's... Oh, we have another VSC. And that looks like it's for no one as well.
Okay, interesting.
As DJ's left, he's already DNF'd.
Young DJ left.
And Brewer's lost a bit more time. He doesn't have damage. Oh no, I can't tell if he's got damage because his telemetry's not set public, but it doesn't... His front wing's still intact. But 3 seconds down, I'm not sure now. Because of this virtual safety car, I wonder if we just got the glitch.
I wonder if we do have the glitch.
Yeah, it's enabled again, so very, very short this time.
Interesting.
This is not going to help the rhythm and flow as he tries to stay between the white lines. But yeah, that gap's 3 seconds, so Bama's penalty, he might just be able to afford it. As VTech's going to pit for that drive-through as well.
Yeah.
No, he's pitting for tyres.
Oh, so did it not, because it was a VSC, did it not let him take the drive-through?
Oh, that might be it.
Oh.
Unless, no, I think he's already served it. He might have served it last lap because it's not popping up for him.
Okay.
But yeah, there you go.
Weird.
So what's the bet we see another VSC in the lap? Google's on the back of Vamu. That's the closest battle on track so far at the moment. That's 9/10, so it feels fairly spread at this point. Porridge and Clay kind of in no man's land in P4 and 5, but that's very solid points to the pair of them. We were saying at the end of qualifying in the formation lap how close that midfield in the championship is. So that's very valuable for the pair of them. But other than that, not much else happening on track, and we have another virtual safety car. There you go.
Alright, so there's some sort of glitch going on right now.
Yeah.
Which is
So
unfortunate.
that's our 3rd or 4th one straight now?
Yeah. Seems like every other lap we're getting one, so...
That's potentially going to ruin the racing as people have to just with the delta. It's going to create some bigger gaps because we know that delta is so inconsistent.
It sucks because we're so close to the end of this race. We got 5 laps to go.
This is saving Fred a little bit because his tyres won't wear out.
Yeah.
It's also sort of saving Justin in P11, although he's not quite in the points because the soft guys aren't catching him. Same with Clay.
True.
But it's not fun. Not fun to watch.
No.
So yeah, our lobby is a little bit stuffed now. I'm not too sure what's caused it, as Google's picked up a drive-through.
Oh, no.
I guess that's the only thing that's going to really cause problems at this point.
Yep.
That's going to knock him off P10. That will put Justin into the points. In terms of Felsa's drive-throughs, Google has as well. No, not Google. Grugrux King has a drive-through as well. He's serving it now.
Okay.
So that's going to knock him out of the points too.
Ooh, Google and Gru almost...
As Google's just gone straight through. I'm not sure why Gruber's going so slow.
Oh, and Gruesome got a speeding in the pit lane penalty as well.
Both of them.
Oh.
As Gruber's retired, as is Google.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could do something about like ending the race kind of now. in terms of
Right, maybe
giving
recording the
results, because
results. I
this
wonder,
is,
I wonder if
yeah,
Arbar
this
is
is just,
here. So I
at
wonder if
this
we can
point it's
just
just
record
stuffing
it.
up the race, isn't it?
Yeah, because I mean, if we have more VSCs, then
I'm not sure if
nothing's
we're
really
allowed
gonna
to do it,
change.
but I'm sure we can make
Well,
an exception.
with the
Like if we get
protocol,
another
it's here, but
VSC in like
yeah,
15 seconds, there you go, we've got another one. So
yeah. I
we're
think
well and truly broken at this point.
we are gonna need to just, yeah, yeah. He has reported it here in the Discord, so I think we will let the probably, yeah. I guess more or less we. Not sure what the protocol is there. I think we. Does the race get called as is? Take the results
Well,
from the first
we'll have to finish it
VSC.
out anyway, but
I think.
we'll have a chat as admin group what we do about it, because
Yeah.
this has totally taken all the air out of what would have been a cracking finish.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So the second VSC, yeah, because the first VSC was legit because we did have that crash. Swarner makes a good point in the chat, so probably that second one onwards is probably when you can measure the results and go from there. So an unfortunate end to the race, but I think if this is the way it stands, we've got Fred with P1, Bama P2, and AG Brewer with P3.
Yeah, Porridge has closed the gap, but it's not going to be enough for that 3 seconds of penalties
Yeah.
for Brewer. Most of the rest of the field aren't quite going to be close enough to do anything. I think Vamu's on the back of DK here.
Yeah.
Both of them on pressure tyres. They're both trying to charge for the field after late stops. Justin will get points, although Kaz is right behind him as well, so it will be a point possibly for Kaz, depending on if we do just start to take these race results early, but we're going to have to wait and see. We will definitely have a chat about it as to what we do, because the game's kind of shot us in the foot a little bit, hasn't it? So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens at this point. I think Vamu's going to make a move on DK here for P7, as he's going left, right, left, right, left, right, ends up going right down the inside. Gets it stopped nicely, runs a lot of that inside curb. It might compromise his exit, and it has. DK's going to get a nice run around the outside, but Vamu will get DRS back again. And should be able to get that place back on the straight. And under brakes, DK's going to try and Albon it, and he's actually been left room, unlike Albon.
Yes, indeed.
That's going to be a debate that sparks forever. And Vamu will hang on. Oh, get ahead actually at DK for P7. Nice job there. And we haven't had a VSC for about a minute and a half now, so...
Yeah, maybe the VC glitch is over. Maybe, yeah.
Oh, who knows what we're going to do.
Interesting.
Yeah. But that's a shame for Google and Greer, who've lost points
Totally. Yeah.
out of that.
100%.
They were running, I think it was 7 and 8, wasn't it? 6 and 7,
they were.
so-
Yeah, they were. Yeah, 7 and 8, I believe, and both had to pit. So it's tough go. I can't believe that. I mean, it makes sense. Fred pulling out the gap to Bama now is like 7.5 seconds. It's crazy, but those hards, I'm sure, are not feeling nice at this point in the race. I feel bad for Gru. He is saying in the AM2 chat, best race of my life, except for the pens. It's like, yeah, man, like you had a fantastic drive today, and it's fortunate some drivers got robbed from results tonight, but we'll see what we can do about it in the final results.
Yeah, I remember Greer started on the back row as well with that quali ban. So that makes it even better.
Yeah, like to go from last to points is impressive in itself. So
Yeah, a track like Austria as well, where it's quite difficult to kind of make moves with the DRS trains. DK picked up another 3 seconds.
So
that now puts him
if
at
DK
9 seconds.
even if DK gets by Vamu on track, he's got the 3-second
Yeah.
disadvantage in the time penalty. So it's not really much of a fight for DK here. 2 laps to go, and Fred is driving away with this one as he crosses the lap. Crosses the start-finish line for one final time.
Yeah, he's had a really good race, hasn't he? His first stint was very, very good. He didn't drop as far back as we thought he might. He only came out kind of 3-4 seconds behind the leaders on the soft tyres, and from that point on we kind of knew it was his race to lose. He's done the hard work in staying between the white lines, getting those moves done early and cleanly, now getting the gap. So definitely deserving of this win. Is
Absolutely.
Fred. And with Acosta's very, very early retirement, it's actually going to put him in the championship lead.
Wow. That's incredible. That's really opened things up in this championship, makes it spicy, and I mean some solid points for some
Yeah.
drivers that might not necessarily get points. So
And
great.
McBam P2 as well. That's only going to put him 10 points behind Acosta. So that battle
Wow.
is well and truly on for the end of the
Yeah.
season.
Well, it's fun to see. You hate to
Really
see that
critical.
from Acosta getting taken out as Freddie crosses the line, weaving down the front, start finish straight to win the Austrian Grand Prix. Fantastic drive from him with Bama taking the checker at P2 and Brewer taking the checker P3. Great race.
Great showing from our reserve driver.
Yeah.
Superb job. Porridge in P4, get the strat right as well. Very, very solid and played. We'll come
Absolutely.
across in P5 soon as well. So very good results to pair of him as well. Bama and Akaka are pushing each other through this last sector. I wonder if Akaka's going to look for a move. It might not matter in the end ultimately on penalties. Akaka will get the move anyway. But might like to get on track.
Yeah, there's some
P6,
sweet
but
satisfaction about getting it on track.
yeah, runs wide.
Yeah.
That'll be another warning, but he'll be safe for P6. I think Vamu with a solid drive anyway. After a shaky start, having to pit in extra time. He'll finish P7 ahead of DK, who I think bolted on the pit exit, cost him another stop. P8 could have been P4, but P8 is still a couple of points, which is good. Kaz with points as well.
Yeah.
It's very, very good. Really good for Alfa Romeo. I think it's his first points of the season, so well done to Kaz. Really, really solid job to pick up some points. And then Justin will take those final points, or that final point, rather. So
Getting driver of the
well
day
done.
with six position changes up for Justin. So great drive from the Mercedes man. Overall, a wild race. Unfortunately, the ending was a little lackluster just due to the VSC glitch, but great drive overall from the podium finishers. Freddie getting lucky at turn one with a wild turn of events with our pole sitter Acosta getting taken out, and ultimately his race is over. So good stuff all together. Good to see a Canadian flag at the top of the podium, and we'll get these guys in for interviews here shortly.
Yeah, I'll send a couple of invites if we want to run through the whole grid. Brad gets that
Sounds
bonus
good.
point as well, which is good. So
Yeah.
maximum points for him.
Yeah, 26 points for Fred, 25 for the win plus one fastest lap. Then you got Bama, Brewer, Porridge, Clay Funk, Arkaka, Vamu, DK, Kaz, and Jason rounding out the top 10. Then you got Steven, VTech, Google, Gru, Young DJ, Wayo, and then Motown Motor City, and Acosta F1 rounds out our AM2 grid this evening.
Yeah, spicy stuff.
Very spicy
Really
stuff.
fun race to watch, except for that little period in the middle there. But yeah, good race at Austria. Kind of delivered what we expected it to, which is good.
Absolutely. Always good when you have exciting action, and from what I've seen this season, AM2 has delivered nothing but exciting action all season long. It's been a very exciting tier to watch and continues to be, and that's why it makes it one of the best in Contest of Speed.
Yeah, without a doubt.
All right, let's get over to the showroom. And
Yeah, we've got a couple guys in. I'm not sure if Brewer wants to join for an interview as well.
Okay,
We'll give him a minute or so.
wait here, and if we get Brewer in, if not, we'll move on to P2. Oh, he's got to go. He said in the chat here, I've gone off, lads. GG. So Brewer, great drive tonight, sir, and you're welcome anytime to fill in. Thank you very much.
I'll just say some congratulations to him quickly.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, we might as well get into it then with our
Sure.
top two, who are
right.
now well and truly in the championship fight after a poor race from Acosta. We might start with Bama. Another race, another podium. Consistency's great. Really, really solid points. That puts you only 10 points behind Acosta now. for second place in the championship after Freddie now takes the lead. But P3, P2 must be very happy with that.
Yeah, definitely happy with the P2. It was, I thought I was going to go for a P3 this race, but DK gifted me one there in T1 with the Acosta hit, so that was nice.
Yeah, I reckon Christian Horner's going to have some strict words post-race. But yeah, quite unfortunate there. A couple of incidents as well behind. Gave you guys some fairly clear air. Nice little three-way fight at the front there. So to come out P2, another podium. Talk about consistency. You must be very happy with the consistency of your results in the last few races and the season in general.
Yeah, consistency is key when it comes to a championship. And I could not just compete with Fred here. Fred had the way better strategy, and I didn't even think of it. And Brewer, me and him had a good battle, and I think, yeah, it was a good race, all of it.
Yeah, we saw that battle with Brewer, really fantastic, nice back and forth. But yeah, Fred on that alternate strat. We thought he'd come out a bit further back, but he had massive pace in the softs. Were you kind of expecting him to get you guys and run away, or did you think he'd be a little bit closer?
Yeah, I pitted early on the hard tire just to make sure I got to the end and no questions. And I was trying to really undercut Brewer, but he came in right behind me, so that really did my strategy wrong. But yeah, I was expecting maybe a 7-second gap to Fred once I got on once his final lap on the mediums, but he was 12, 13 seconds up the road, and he actually really surprised me there. And he was 5 seconds back when he came out of the pits on the softs, and I knew it was over from there.
Yeah, P2 then, if that was the best you could possibly hope for after that kind of point, then must be pretty happy to have wrapped that up. So congratulations on another podium. 3 rounds left. So we're starting to get to crunch time, and you're well and truly in the championship fight, which is fantastic for you. Spain, Baku, and Mexico coming up. Any of those kind of light up your eyes a bit? Any kind of death tracks for you, or what are your thoughts on those 3?
I actually like Spain as a whole track, and I think that's going to be good. Not many two people riding your butt the whole entire race and having to use your ERS and killing your strategy, so I'm looking forward to Spain.
Yeah, well, we'll see how you go. Hopefully we'll chat to you again at the rate you're going. We might be with that consistency. So well done on P2. We'll catch you for Spain next week.
Thank you, and congrats, Rod.
Yeah, good stuff all around. And to our winner, I'm trying that alternate strat from the front row, getting that fast lap point as well because of it on those soft tyres at the end. Very, very, very solid drive, particularly that first stint to reduce that gap for the second stint. But well done on another win. And congratulations for taking the championship lead after a poor race from your rival. So must be feeling pretty happy at this point.
Yeah, I'm happy. I don't know. Strategy, it was always going to be either soft to medium or medium to soft, just depending how the quali would go. And it would rain, so it was medium to soft. Yeah, there's nothing more to it. I just tried to keep pace, not get a penalty, and that was that. I
definitely did that. Yeah.
That was it. There's not really more I can give.
Yeah, I think your first stint was probably just as impressive as your second stint, managing to reduce that gap. So you only came out 5 or so seconds behind. So you must have been pretty happy with that. Kind of made yourself, put yourself under a little bit less pressure to get by those top 2 and get that gap out. So must be pretty happy with both stints, not just that soft stint making those overtakes.
Oh yeah, definitely the medium stint. My goal initially was to match the pace, which I did do for 5-6 laps. Then the tires started going out, and then it was just tire saving, which I feel like I did a pretty good job. I don't know. I think they were in the 70s by the time I pitted, but they didn't feel hard to drive. It was only maybe the first lap or 2 where it started it was iffy, but after that, yeah, it was fine. I was having fun that race. Quali not so much. I was getting a little frustrated with some traffic. But other than that, yeah, I had fun. I had just good old fun.
Well, that's great to hear. I mean, that's ultimately what we're here for, isn't it? So Superb job. Championship lead. I'll ask you the same question. We've got Spain, Baku, and Mexico as our final 3 races. Do you reckon you can hold it? Are there any tracks in there that you think you can win?
Probably Mexico. Mexico is one of my favorite tracks. It's anything. So those two. I'm getting flustered here. Okay, Spain and Mexico, I love. Baku, I'm not too sure if I will even score points there. So that's my thinking going into those races.
Yeah. No, Baku's going to be an interesting one. We know how treacherous it is with the walls, and how unpredictable it can be with the results. So I think that's going to be a really critical race there. So hopefully you can keep your nose clean, which I think is the number one thing. But good news about Spain and Mexico, wreaking a bit of fear into your rivals. We'll see who can, close that gap to you now. It's not a cost you all catching, it's you. So we'll see how that goes in the last 3 races. But congratulations on maximum points today, pulling out that championship lead. Hopefully we're talking to you again next week at Spain. So well done.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'll hand it over to you, Bazzy, to finish things up.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bod. Congratulations to the podium finishers. Excellent racing this evening. It was fantastic to hop back in the commentary booth and commentate on one of the memorable ones. It was great to do and great to watch. And thank you for all of you that have stuck around and this long, the 6 that are remaining, I believe. And if you watch us in the future, thank you for sticking around this long. It's a pleasure to commentate, and Badhod, thank you very much for joining in the commentary booth this evening. Just a reminder, tomorrow, Wednesday, we've got EU1, 10 p.m. GMT. That's UK time. Then following that is AM1 at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then Thursday, we round out the week with EU4 at 10 p.m. GMT. And then, as Badhod has mentioned earlier, we have 3 races remaining. We've got Spain, and then Baku, and then Mexico closes out the Contest of Speed 50% race schedule for Season 7. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a fantastic evening.